Hi guys, and welcome back to Reed's Readers with your host, Clinton Reed Britton. And yes, I know I look like I just woke up, because I kind of did. You know what? I don't care. It's one of those lazy videos. This is not coffee, it's tea. A friend of mine got me some Hocus Pocus coffee mugs. And I just needed a teacup, so... Okay, as the title of this video persists, I saw Amanda do this video, and I thought it was such an interesting take. I took it a little bit differently than Amanda did, and that's okay, because I feel like everybody's brains take things and topics and stuff all differently. Well, Amanda did this video called The 10 Books I Would Grab in a Fire, that I would save in a fire. My brain automatically started thinking emotionally with this. Not all of these books are my top 10 favorite books of all time. That is not what this is. My brain went very logical, and it was like, books can be replaced. Memories cannot. And some of these have certain memories attached to them that I can never replace. Or if I'm going to be honest, if I was going to do this whole, these are my favorite books of all time, you see this shelf right behind me, right above me, all these TJ Clunes, I would have been like, okay, cool, these are the ones I'm saving in a fire, let's go. Or Alice or Casey. Let's be honest, we all know how I am. That'd be like Wolf Song, Red, White, and Royal Blue, Heartstopper, and the How to Hang Witches. We gotta go, let's run. Everything else can be replaced. But I wanted to think about this a little bit more strategically, because my brain just automatically started thinking of that way. So I thought this would be a very interesting take. I would love to see what you guys' answers would be down below. If your house is on a fire, or if you had to narrow down your shelves down to 10 books only, what would those be and why? Love that. It's just like very, my brain is just like, I love this idea. So these are in no particular order. I just, as I thought of them, I threw them on a stack, maneuvered some things around, and just was like, do I want to keep, or is these my options? Had them all, and just threw them in a stack. So I will go through each reasoning. Why? I would love to see if y'all can guess any of the 10 down below. I'm sure y'all will get at least 2 or 3 right. Maybe 4. The rest, maybe not so much, because I don't talk about them that much anymore. But okay, let's just go through it. And the first one that I would save in a fire off this stack, again, no particular order. These are just like grab, make my stack kind of thing, you know? The first one I would like to discuss is Rainbow Boys by Alex Sanchez. And the reason why I would grab this is I have so many fond memories of this series. This was the very first Mel series that I had ever read. The very first book I ever read where the main character was queer. And this also discusses 3 different types of queer men. You have Nelson, who is flaming. You have, is it Jason? Jason, the jock, who is coming to terms with the fact that he's bisexual, but he's like this manly jock. And then you have Kyle, who I feel like I'm like a mixture of Kyle and Nelson, but Kyle is just like this normal, everyday teenager, this gamer. Yeah, he's a jock because he's a swimmer, but he's a gamer, he's a nerd, he's just authentically himself. And to see these three go through the things that they go through and accept the things that they can't change. Kyle and Jason falling in love, Nelson coming to terms with being that flaming homosexual stereotype, but loving himself. This showed me many things, and I don't know how many times I checked out this series out of the school library. In 1 year, I think I read this book maybe 25 times in 1 year, and this book helped save my life in a way. Like, there would, if it wasn't for a certain author, there would be another book on this stack that's not here. But like Harry Potter, this, and a couple of others that are in this stack, you'll hear me talk about how these are the books that saved my life. Without these books, I wouldn't be here today. There is 2 more on this deck that will be part of that, but that is why I would at least grab book 1 to this series. This is a really hard series to get your hands on these days, and that's okay. But I feel like everybody needs to experience Rainbow Boys at least once in their life. This next one, let me tell you the story behind it before I show you it. For those who know me, know I have an entire shelf right here dedicated, and then right underneath is dedicated to her husband, to Miss Adriana Mather. Oh, and Kit's Vincent's right there on that shelf too. Their best friend. This book, one of my best friends sent me a book trailer one night. Not knowing, my brain was really not in the best place ever. I was in one of the darkest mindsets I've ever been in. And I was contemplating that night a 4th attempt on my life. And when she sent me this book trailer, I was just so enraptured by it. And I was just like, cool. When I get paid, I'll buy this book. I get paid tomorrow. Maybe I'll order it off of Amazon or something. Or maybe we can go to, when me and this best friend have a day off together, we'll go to Barnes & Nobles and just see if we can find this book. Lo and behold, the very next day, I was at Walmart buying groceries, and something just told me to go in the book section. The minute I entered the book section, a book fell off the shelf. That book was this exact copy, mind you. Yes, it was a hardback copy. It was this exact copy, I do believe. If it wasn't, then I've replaced it with a hardback because of what it means. But this book, How to Hang a Witch by Adriana Mather, fell off the shelf. I kept putting it back, but then I was like, oh, let me read the synopsis. I was like, this sounds familiar. So I pulled up the video that the friend sent, and I was like, oh my god, it's that book. This is the only one Walmart had at the time. I put back some type of sweet thing that I really didn't need at the time and bought this book instead. This is the first time in a long time since like Harry Potter or House of Night that I picked up a book, read it, and immediately picked it up again. I read this book 5 times in a row. And I just so happened to find the author's Facebook page. Wow, every time I talk like this. And I messaged her. I don't know, this was pre-BookTube, this was pre-everything. And I messaged her. Lo and behold, a year or so later, she had told me that she had to print out what I sent her. It was 5 pages of me gushing about every section of the book, talking about my critiques, my everything, this just... And I now consider her a friend. Her and her husband are like family to me. Adriana's like a sister, and without this book, I know for a fact I would not be sitting here. I would not have the confidence or the manpower to be who I am today without this book. If you do not know what How to Hang a Witch is about, it's about a woman named Samantha Mather, who is a descendant of Cotton Mather, same as the author, who moves back to Salem. And the minute she gets forced to move back to Salem, descendants of the Salem witches start dying in the order that they die back in the day. And it takes her and these descendants, who are not a fan of hers, to come together to figure out what's going on and fight the evil behind it. And it's just one of the most beautiful stories I think I've ever read. And I also felt like my sister had a hand in this, because my sister's name is Samantha, and I kind of felt like, oh, she's like, you need a light down your tunnel. And that is why the book fell off the shelf. But this is why I would grabbed this specific book, which is also signed to me by Adriana, where it says, "Dear Clint, I'm so happy that you made it today. It has been so wonderful chatting with you and getting to know you, Adriana Mather." Granted, all my Adriana books are signed and personalized, but this is the one that, yeah, Hunting November. Sorry, Killing November is book 1. Killing November, yes, is the one where I was able to meet some of the Fam Bam group, got to go to Salem, got to hang out with Adriana, her mom, James, all of them for a book signing. But this is the book that forever is in my top 10 favorite books of all time. Will never leave it. It is the one that, when I think about a book and the power that a book does for a person, I want to write something like this that's, say, not subject matter, but I want to write something like it in the sense of, this book saved my life. And I'm actually due for a reread, so I may be rereading this next month. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's been a minute. Okay. Let's go on a little bit lesser of some. This next one I would grab, because the memories behind this one are buddy reading. A buddy read this book with Nikki, Tracy, and Sterling. Granted, I don't think Sterling ever, I know Nikki ended up gifting me her edition, which is over there, the white edition. But I have to go with Him by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy, because yes, I've read Male romances in the past, i.e. Red, White, and Royal Blue, Boyfriend Material. I think at that time, maybe I might have read Never Been Kissed. I've read a lot of YA male romances. But I'm putting this as, this is the one that I remember as my first foray into indie published romances. I was a little hesitant of dipping my toes into indie published male romances, just because of things I've heard in the past. And this has opened my eyes to sports romance. And there's like a lot of things that I tie with this, and that is why I have to grab this. If you don't know what him is, it follows Jamie Canning and Ryan Wesley. Jamie and Wes, oh my god, who are former best friends turned strangers, turned friends, turned lovers. And that's all I'm gonna say. Speaking of buddy reading and Mr. TJ Klune, this was my first introduction into TJ Klune. And I was in love. This solidified him as my #1 auto-buy author of all time. Clearly, I have an issue. But that is Wolfsong. And yes, I am grabbing the indie published edition because these are hard to find nowadays. So if I was only able to save one TJ Klune, this is the TJ Klune I would save. I did a read-along with this, and which solidified several friendships with me. And made it where I felt like a little bit more confident of a person. And the friends that I made in my pack will forever remain amazing. Yes, there's a theme of buddy reading, but I can't imagine not having this specific book. Yes, I didn't tab or anything, but I remember laughing and crying and talking to friends. Yeah, I reread book 1, and I think I reread book 2 and 3 when we read the thing so that we could read book 4 all together. But being able to introduce people to something that absolutely destroyed me, it's the greatest feeling I think I've ever had. That is why I would grab that one. Didn't think we were going to get this deep now, did we? Now the next book, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we're only on book 5. Oh, we have 5 more to go. I got to meet one of my idols this year and got her to sign this. I am so beyond everything when it comes to this. But I would grab I'm No Philosopher, But I Got Thoughts, Many Meditations for Saints, Sinners, and the Rest of Us by Kristen Chenoweth. I went to the signing, stood in line by myself, kind of wish I would have had someone to go with, but I understood. But getting to meet someone that I have looked up to since God knows when, really inspired me, and is still one of the greatest memories I will ever treasure. The next book kind of goes along with this in that sense, but Kristen's music, Kristen's attitude and everything has inspired me to be the bubbly person I am today. Without her, I don't think I would be the bubbly person I am. Next, I had a chance to meet the mother-daughter duo of one of my favorite book series of all time that I read in high school that saved my life on many occasions, and that is House of Night. Now, the reason why I grabbed House of Night Legacy is I was only able to get one book signed by them when I met them. And I wanted it to be this edition because it was printed upside down. It was super cool to be able to discuss that with them. But I have so many memories tied to the moment I got to meet them, because I got to tell them what one of their main characters, Damien, who in a lot of ways reminds me of Kyle. Damien was my first introduction outside. This is my first introduction to a male main character that's queer. This was my first introduction to a queer side character who was not your stereotypical gay boy or jock. He wasn't flaming, he wasn't a jock. He knew words, he knows musicals, he's just himself. And Damien inspired me in a lot of ways to be more authentically myself. And I loved that. So that is why I grabbed this. Yes, it's the graphic novel for the series. The series can be replaced. The memories associated with this cannot. Now, speaking of BookTube, I had to choose at least one Season-a-thon book. I was part of Season-a-thon for almost 5 years. This being September, this is the first round of any of the Season-a-thons that I have never taken part in since its creation. And the one, yeah, we've interviewed some of my favorite authors, i.e. T.J. Klune. We've interviewed Caleb Rarick. We have interviewed Jeff Zentner. We've interviewed Christina Lauren. We have interviewed Crystal Sutherland, Sophie Garcia, Janelle Angelis, Jessica Brody, and a bunch of others. But for some reason, when I think about feeling accomplished of interviewing people, this book came to mind, and that is The Deceivers by Kristen Simmons, which I had won in a giveaway prior to us. I had won book 1 and book 2 prior to us using this as a Season-a-thon book, and was blown away. And Season-a-thon brought so many memories, so many people into my life that I'm 100% grateful for. Yeah, I may not be part of Season-a-thon anymore. I may not be as close with one of the hosts as I used to be, but that's okay. Life happens, and we move on. But Season-a-thon brought me one of the greatest gifts could ever have, and that's Kaylani in my life. I can't imagine not having her, Nikki, Karina, and Dana in my life. So thank you, Season-a-thon, for bringing those 4 specific individuals into my life. The besties, who in turn brought me hope, which brought me hope, then Morgan, then Alicia, and everyone else, and Amanda, and Trinity, and Drew, and everybody else that I talked to, Lori, and Ryan, and Jess, and I could sit here and go on and go on and go on. But I needed one representation for Season-a-thon, and for some reason this book stood out above the rest. Don't understand why, but it does. Now these last 3. This next one, to be perfectly honest, I don't know which edition of it I would grab. I would just grab a Heartstopper. I don't know if I would put too much thought into play. I just grabbed Heartstopper Volume 1 in hardback off the shelf. I have British editions. I have American editions. I have 2 Fairy Loot editions. Honestly, I don't know which edition I would grab. I would just grab a Heartstopper. Heartstopper has This and one of the other two books have this Wolf Song and Red, White, and Royal Blue has really become my life and who I am as a person. And Nick and Charlie are just comfort. I will forever just dive into this comfort read whenever I feel bad and I need something happy. Now, this next one, I have several editions of this as well, but, and one of which is an Illumicrate edition, which I probably could not replace. But this particular one was gifted to me by Nikki earlier this year. That is Song of Achilles. Now, what makes this important is I finally got to meet one of my bookish besties who we have been friends for many, many years now. Almost as long as my friendship. It's been almost 5 years of friendship with her. And we finally got to be in the same place at the same time. And I can never replace that. And why Nikki is by far one of the greatest people I've ever met. And I will forever love her. She gifted me this gorgeous edition, which also at the same exact time I got in these gorgeous, while she was here, I got in these gorgeous, like, overlays, which just makes this edition even more precious to me. So that is why I would grab this specific edition. I also remember with this particular book is buddy reading it with another one of our besties, and that is Karina, and how hard Karina and I sobbed at this book. So, yeah. And then last but not least, y'all know I had to grab a Red, White, and Royal Blue edition. And let's be honest, I had to grab the Illumicrate edition because all the other editions can be replaced. Plus, can we talk about the gorgeousness of this edition? Like, come on now. Red, White, and Royal Blue has now become my favorite book of all time. I have now rewatched the movie about 30 times. It's fine. Like I said, this Green Creek and Heartstopper have become my life. Would love to try to figure out a way to mix the 3 into one tattoo. More thoughts on that later. But yeah, so there you have it. These are the 10 books that I would save and why. I apologize if I got a little deep in on this, but my brain instantly thought memories, and some books just represent buddy reading. Some represent a time in my life that was dark. Some of these are the warm hug. When this book, before this book came out, it was the very first Nat Kelly arc I had ever gotten. And I read the book 4 times before it came out. Getting to meet people in person. Yeah. Those are the 10 books that I would save from a burning fire. Comment down below and let me know, did you guess any of these correct? Granted, I'm pretty sure y'all at least got these 4 in here. someone guessed at least one of these four. Let's be honest. These six, I don't see as high as people would think as the others. But yeah, comment down below. Do you guys want to do this? If so, do the video. Link me down. Let me know. I want to see y'all's responses to this. Amanda, thank you so much for doing this idea. Seeing your video inspired me to do this, and I will have Amanda linked down below. If you're not following Amanda, go follow her. She's freaking amazing and wonderful and one of the sweetest people I've ever met. So, but that's all I've got for you guys. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. And if you're new, hit that subscribe. And until next time, always remember to be fabulously yourself. Oh boy!